and then this is what we get. So now that I finished the Ultimate Texture Packs earlier this month and released it and everything, and thanks for everyone that checked it out, I wanted to go through a little bit of the idea behind it and what's inside of it. So the first ideas for Texture Hop started last year with the Texture Hop Volume 1 through 5 sample packs that are up on Bandcamp. And basically, the idea for starting to do that in the first place was when I started to get really frustrated with the quality of my music and the amount of effort I thought I was putting into the sound design. And I was getting really frustrated with just the basic hi-hats, the basic sort of, sounds that were in my songs that were coming out. And I was listening to a lot of Flying Lotus and realizing that a lot of what is in that sound isn't necessarily just the hi-hat, kick, snare, tom, the things that you find in a sample pack, but it's all the little other things that add up to it. That's also when a lot of other people started around the same time to get into Foley, doing like Foley, and everybody now has got a Foley percussion pack. So we got, the Foley around the same time. I started getting into experimental music and noise and what you can do with noise. And so that is sort of, opened up my scope. And the Ultimate Texture Packs is kind of a culmination of all that. And everything that I have done up to that point of, looking between the lines in the discrepancies between the music I was getting really into and the samples that I was working with. So I started to make my own. And so let me just go into it and show you what it is. So this is the Ultimate Texture Packs. We have the 3 folders up here, which are algorithmic, bespoke, and then tests. And so most of it is bespoke. Bespoke meaning just handmade. So that's all the stuff that I made. The algorithmic stuff I explained in a video that was on my Instagram was just coming from some pure data patches that I made. This was the hand, and then this was like everything leading up to the hand. It's basically algorithmic compositions. It's stuff that I didn't necessarily come out and play these notes. I just did the sound design on it and let the algorithm sort of decide. So I got really cool results out of that. And the hand is available, of course, at yourboypax.com as a VST. Spoke. And then tests are me going through in Ableton, making some songs, and then adding little things that I made. So here you get kind of practical bass loops, chords, melodies. So it's not just things that I came up with doing sound design, which could be whatever. You don't know if anyone's going to find them useful or not. What the additions are in the test section are me actually saying, okay, let's make a song with this, and then bust down like every track and what did I add to get to the end result, which is the song, and I include the songs. Okay, so let's go back and bespoke. One of the things I included, mostly just for the fun of it and to do the drum recording, was the drum loops. So this does not necessarily have anything to do with Texture Hop, except for the fact that they're real drums, and they're real sounds, and you can get the intricacies of every player that played on it. But I'll just go through and play a couple. Shout out to Noggin, T-Lust. Got a couple fills in here. That one's probably my favorite. You get the idea on that. So that's pretty straightforward. Hats, pretty straightforward. A lot of these came from the drum recording, but some of them, most of them, are probably just sound design. I did a lot of stuff with noise, filtering noise, different processing with noise. These hats are synthesized, and then these are, you can tell which ones are recorded. Right. Snares, same kind of thing. A lot of them were recorded, anything with Noggin, anything at Control S, which is Preston Hardwick Studio. But then a lot of them were made just with sound design, just experimenting, doing different things. Ableton. Sometimes you can't tell the difference. using different Foley, stacking it with processing. Right. And then so here's where the ideas of that I got listening to Flying Lotus and different stuff that I consider in retrospect to be texture hop is when you get to the things like the hat loop. So I wanted to include a couple things, like I had Noggin come through and just do simple stuff because I like using these, and I already made a video on that about using hi-hats, using hi-hat loops in your beats. But what was really cool and what I spent a lot of time doing last year was making these granular hi-hat loops where there's different granular delays creating a sort of whirlwind of hi-hats around every quarter beat. So there's the quarter beats and then there's things going in different pitches, and that's what these are up here. Right, so you can already see from there, from the hi-hat loops, how we're getting somewhere else. It's not just these, which I included, and the hi-hats and the kicks and the snares, but we're getting into in between the hi-hats, the kicks, and the snares. What else is there? And what else can you sort of pull in to make something different? And then I didn't want to put too many samples of field recordings because, of course, I could have put, say it's going to be 1,000 sounds and then go do 200 field recordings. But once you have one, they're all pretty much the same. But I did include a few just from different places: Cape Canaveral, Atlanta, Arkansas, Winter Park. Some of it has a little stream in it, a little crunching of leaves, the ocean. And again, I made another video about using noise in drums and how that can make your drums feel more fuller and sound more fuller. And everybody knows that you can take some of these and just put them really low in the beat and have them just as something in the background and really pull everything together. So going from that idea, one thing I did do and include a lot of was the textures. And this is where I think the pack really shines. Is I spent a lot of time on this and a lot of effort went into this, and this is what I've been using the most. Is in every single one of my beats now you have one of these sounds, and at the very least a noise sample in the drum bus. But one of these sounds is at the bottom of every single mix I have. It's at the very lowest, on the fader, is one of these sounds that really it only just barely creeps in when you want it to. And what you get out of that is just little tiny things that set your beat apart and make it something different than just a kick, a snare, a melody, a chord progression. It makes it feel alive, and you can darken something. I have everybody knows the problem of like trying to make a beat and it sounds really soft. It doesn't have sort of an edge to it, and it doesn't sound grimy. And that's what I love the grain textures is. I got so many just weird, eerie sounds that really add something else to the beat. So yeah, and then from there, there's a ton of perks, a lot of Foley, donks, boings. There's stuff from the Coma Field Kit. Stuff with, I was using my cassette player, the microphone on that, going into the Coma Field Kit, going into a compressor, smash on the compressor, and getting these wacky, all types of sounds. And so, yeah, that's nothing. I mean, I put a lot of that in here, and that's nothing special. That's going to be in everybody's Foley percussion pack. But I learned a lot from doing the Texture Hop Volume 1 through 5. I learned what people did and didn't like, And I took that and thought about that in the Foley percussions, and I thought about what I actually did and didn't use out of the Texture Hop pack. And so, you know, it's not, I didn't just jingle my keys in front of the microphone and say there it is. You know, I did a lot of processing, and I did a lot of taking shit out. So it's not, I didn't get to 1,000 sounds just by stacking up 1,000 sounds. There's a lot that didn't really make it in the pack, and you could see a lot of that down here just in this folder. This isn't included, but this is just, you know, things that I took out that I wanted to keep but didn't really necessarily make it in the pack. And then there's a lot that just got deleted. So, you know, besides that, there's perks, there's loops of the perks, which are kind of the same idea. Of just different sounds and different textures. And then I guess the last thing that I didn't cover, instruments, right? It's pretty straightforward. This isn't the algorithmic stuff. This is stuff I really sat down and played a piano. You know. So I didn't go crazy on that, but I did include a lot of it. So that's just some things that I thought would be helpful and I didn't go, you know, making a whole bunch of melody loops because I didn't think that was going to be what people wanted from me. It's more about the sound design. It's more about the subtle stuff than me going in and being like, let me show you how to do a C major chord progression. You know what I mean? You can do that yourself, like you know how to do that. But stuff like this, it's a little more difficult to get to, and I thought that that's something that, you know, might be helpful to be included. And then probably my favorite part, actually probably what I've used the most besides the textures, is the effects. I mean, I put these all over my beats, and it's interesting because I have so many sample packs, and I'm always looking for these, and there's always one or two that bang in every pack, but no one's really went and fully comprehensively done these little bing blang effects. And you'd be surprised what that can do in a beat. It can really take a 4-bar loop and place in the right spots. It can really make something shine by just, or stand out a little bit just by adding a little variation or a little ear candy. That's definitely probably more than the textures. I've used the effects on everything I've made, you know, since making the pack. And I'm always trying to not use too much of it as is, but I do that with every sample pack I get. I don't just drop it in the beat, you know, or maybe I do, but I try not to drop it in the beat. I take it and I time stretch it and I do something a little different with it to make it my own. So I'm even doing that with my own. You know, I'm coming in here and then, you know, doing this double time or whatever. And so that's basically what's in it. Textures, there's kicks, hi-hats, snares. There's a fucking ton of snares. You know, it's everything you need if you're going to make something that slaps. So let me just show you how quick we can make something here. Just dragging in just the samples. So let's take a snare. Like if you wanted to just come in here and use only the sounds and not do anything different with them. E flat, E, F. So I'm never going to be the guy to tell you, just drag and drop, not only in mine, but in fucking any sample pack, just, pull it up and drag and drop. But this is what we get out of just drag and dropping. The only thing I did was add, sidechain, and then a saturator, and then this tape plugin, just because I have it routed that way. And then this is what we get.